Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today, as I alluded to yesterday, it is time to take a look at a hot new knife coming from my friends over at Caviso. It's not available just at Caviso, but there are two exclusives at Caviso that are a match made in heaven for me, because what we're talking about is Magnacut steel and fat carbon. The perfect combination for a knife these days, in my opinion. They go together like chocolate and peanut butter. It can't get much better than Magnacut and carbon fiber right now. And what we're talking about is another fantastic design from Bob Terzola. This is the MKM TPF. Now, TPF, what does that stand for? Tactical Pocket Fixed Blade. What we have here is a very nice, very attractive, pocket-friendly fixed blade here that has all of the Bob Terzola attributes you look for in a knife. That awesome combination of tactical appearance, but also with some class. Now, before we get into a lengthy review on this guy, it actually won't be super lengthy because fixed blades are a little quicker to talk about. But if you guys notice here, on this handle, you see how it's kind of a little milky on this side, just a little, like there's just a little bit of dryness on the carbon fiber. When you flip it over, it's slightly darker. I hope the camera is showing that because it is very noticeable in person. But I want to show you a little something before we get into this review, before we get talking about it. Something I do with a lot of my knives, not just carbon fiber, but my Carta and some other ones as well. I use this stuff. This is mineral oil. A lot of you probably know about this. Some of you may not. So this isn't like a secret Wayne Sharp World trick. It's just something that I think a lot of people do, but it's very possible that some people may not know about it. This stuff here, Howard cutting board oil, colorless, odorless, tasteless. It's great stuff. Food grade, so you don't have to worry about it, being, a lot of times you use your knives on food or something, so you don't have to worry about getting any chemicals or something in cross-contamination in your body. Don't worry about that. Really, really good stuff. I got this at Lowe's. It was like 10 bucks, and you get a lot of it, and a little of it goes a very, very long way. So what we're going to do here is very quickly take a cloth, kind of fold it up, and we're going to apply a very light amount of this to the scale and just watch it come to life. The colors get darker, it pops more. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, but you have to do it very carefully because the stuff comes out kind of fast and it can get a little messy if you're not careful. So there's that. Now we got this stuff here. And yeah, you basically just take it and wipe it on. Now see this, look at this. Kind of dry. Boom. Let that set in and it will bring your scales to life. We'll wipe up the whole other side too and just kind of show you what we got here. And this lasts for quite a while. Obviously the bottle will last a very long time, but this one application, it kind of speeds up the patinaing process. Not so much on carbon fiber because it's not as porous, but with like my Carta, it's an excellent first thing to do. You really want, like, this is carbon fiber, so it doesn't really matter if you use too much or too little because it's not going to soak in like it would my Carta. My Carta, you want to use even less, but this is all it takes. Give it a good wipe and then take the rest of the cloth and just dry it off. You don't need it to be wet. You just want to get a nice, good application to it. And now what you have is a little more pop in that scale. And as you can see, these scales happen to be green dark matter, which is one of my favorite types of dark matter. And there's a lot more going on with this handle that we'll talk about when we get to the handle portion of the review. But I wanted to get this out of the way and just show you guys that. If you're not doing that, I highly, highly recommend it on anything my Carta or my Carta or carbon fiber, or even wood. It'll really make wood pop as well. So now that we got that done, let's take a look at some overall specs on this awesome little fixed blade right here. We have an overall length of 7.28 inches, a blade length at 3.27 inches, and a blade thickness at 140 thousandths. As I mentioned earlier, this is CPM Magnacut steel. We have a flat grind and a handle length at 4.01 inches. And the handle material, this is where things get really good and you have a lot of options. This ranges from wood to G10 to fat carbon. So, and there's probably like, I want to say 5 I think 5 handle options, maybe even 6. Of course, it's going to be linked below for you guys to check out, but a lot of different flavors. We're looking at a pretty reasonable 3.17 ounces, so it's not going to be heavy in the pocket. Designed, as I said, by Bob Terzola. And you guys probably could have looked at this and guessed Bob Terzola even before you saw the maker's mark over here. Mr. Terzola does a fantastic job of designing knives, fixed blades, or folders, and they have a very nice, comfy, tactical presence to them. Comfy, I meant in ergos, and tactical, obviously, because there are a lot of ways to hold this knife that are very, very effective for any type of use you would need this knife for. Now, the price is also awesome, too. The prices range, depending on the handle material, they're all Magnacut. All the steels are Magnacut. But the handle materials range, so the prices range. The prices range from $167 to $189. That's the most expensive one. And the best thing about all that is this is the $167 version. Yes, this is one of the exclusives. So there's 2 exclusives with Caviso. The Fat Carbon in green, and then there's the Glow Fat Carbon, which really the Glow Fat Carbon looks just like dark matter, black fat carbon, where it's just like marbled carbon fiber, but it glows in the dark. So that's really cool as well. That one's slightly more expensive. I think that one's $179. But this one right here for green dark matter, only $167. And you also, of course, get that amazing leather pocket sheath that literally smells like, oh man, smells like it came straight out of Italy. It is amazing. Awesome, awesome job on this leather. It feels great in the pocket. I will definitely be carrying this today, and it's a very comfy knife in terms of how it carries. You don't have to worry about it poking you in the sides, or not the blade, obviously, but sometimes the handle can poke you in the sides and get in the way. The way the whole pocket sheath is designed, it just works great. It looks amazingly well, and the pairing of that green dark matter with the black leather, yes, please. Huge, huge fan of this. So much quality in the sheath alone. Then you get into the knife, and let me hit on that again. Just how good the retention is. Holds the knife is as secure as it can be, and you really have to give it a good tug to get it out of the pocket. Not a yank, but it's in there snug enough to where I have no concern of it falling out of the sheath, and I've had that concern with other sheaths before. So really nice to say that. And let's do some size comparisons real quick. And let's compare it to maybe some folders to give you guys a better idea. We'll try and line it up there. Let's bring out a couple that I'm sure a lot of you probably know about. The Spyderco Paramilitary Para 3, as well as the ProTech Malibu. And as you can see, it's actually a couple pretty good size comparisons, very close to both of those knives. So it's a nice kind of a medium sized knife. Flirting with small, but not really small, but I wouldn't really call it a medium-sized knife either. Nice, great for the pocket, especially a fixed blade. And 2 more size comparisons here, just to throw out some Caviso exclusives. The Wee Knives Praxis, which is still available. There's a few of those lingering on the shelves over at Caviso. And this right here, now this is not from Caviso, but if you guys don't know, if you haven't heard before, I've partnered with Caviso to come out with an exclusive. We're working with Brian Nadeau on another run of Mini Tempest. These were probably the most desirable, popular release from Sharp by Design to date. At least if it's not the most popular, it was one of them. And we have a whole shipment of these things coming in that I think are going to go pretty fast, but if you're not following Caviso on Instagram, if you're not subscribed to their internet newsletters, be sure to do that, and you'll know exactly when these guys are dropping. And there's also going to be flipper options. I've got to get all this information in there while I'm telling you, because this is just a front flipper, but there's going to be a front flipper option like this, and also a flipper option where there's no front flipper and a back flipper to help accommodate those who don't like front flippers. But this is one of the few perfect knives I have in my collection. I'm in love with it. It's fantastic. It's never going anywhere. And I'm probably going to be adding a second one here when that drop happens. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But as you can see, it is a little shorter than both of these 2 knives. So there's some things to put it into perspective there for you. And now let's take a few minutes to talk about this guy, because it is one very well-designed little knife here. The blade is one of those things to where it's definitely a tactical blade. I wouldn't consider this thing to be a slicer, but it's a good cutter. I believe the edge reading on this was around 28 thousandths. So again, it's going to be able to take care of your EDC tasks, but I wouldn't consider it to be like, you know, like some of the knives, obviously, that have the 14 to 15 thousandths behind the edge. Not going to be that razor, but it is going to be one very efficient cutter, and with ergos that just really work so well. If you have bigger hands, you can keep your finger up here, and there's great jimping that feels awesome, but not too aggressive. But it is a little more aggressive than normal to kind of bring it more to that tactical level. So if you ever find yourself to where you really are having to, you know, really use this knife with some force, you can do it safely without it slipping out of your hands, which is very nice. And there's also a nice ramp back here to where you can push your thumb into and really have a secure grip for any type of thrusts you have to do to maybe open up a thick wall bag or box or get into something. Going to be very, very useful for all that. A nice swedge to help reduce some drag at the front and also help improve some piercing at the tip. You have a nice, robust tip. Very well done there, especially with that Magnacut. This is going to be one very, very tough blade. And then the ergos. The ergos are just exceptional. I mean, it's not a huge handle because, again, it's a pocket fixed blade. You're not going to have a huge handle on a pocket fixed blade because then it would take away from the comfort of carrying it on you, which, in all honesty, ergos and being able to carry a fixed blade comfortably are the two most important things. I think nowadays just about any company can get a blade sharp enough to where that works, but it's the ease of carrying and the comfort, the comfy ergos that really factor into what make a good small fixed blade worth its money. But yeah, it checks all the boxes for me. It really is a solid fixed blade. Big fan of this. Admittedly, I am a fan of Bob Terzola in general, so I do usually kind of tend to gravitate a little more towards his designs because I think they just look great and they really fit their purpose very well. The guy knows what he's doing. So there you go, guys. That is it. That is the MKM TPF Tactical Pocket Fixed Blade designed by Bob Terzola. Available at Caviso. Links below. Hop on down if you want to pick one up. Let me know what you think of this. It's a really, really cool design. There's not many fixed blades that really grab my attention and are like, hey, check me out right now. I was walking around at SHOT Show earlier this year, and this was one of them. Really big fan of this. Let me know what you guys think of it. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.